So what's the deal? What's going on when somebody's laying face down on a chiropractic table and we're moving the legs up and down while putting a hand on their low back? What is happening, right? That's the question of the day. I thought it was a great one from a patient. Now, first off, when you're lying down, let's look at the anatomy real quick. This is what your spine looks like, right? This is your lumbar spine. So this is your low back. This is your sacrum. This is your coccyx, also known as the tailbone, right? And these are nerves that come off of the spinal cord. Obviously, continues higher up into the thoracic and the cervical spine and then into the brainstem, right? But when you're lying face down on this table, this is what you look like. So this is the back, right? This is the front. They're face down. So when we're pushing like this and we're cranking down this way, what we're doing is opening the space between these joints. Why is that important? Look what travels between these bones, right? You have the facets here that interlock at each segment. Between them are the bones. So how do you think the nerve's going to act if these bones are pressing on it and these are stuck together, right? Maybe not as well as if it were freed up, right? So let's try to give you a good angle here where you can see the space open for that nerve. Now, opening a space for the nerves is one thing, right? Taking some pressure off of the cord is another, where we have these discs, these cushions between the bones, these fancy jelly-filled donuts, right? And so over time, if our curve is too straight, or we have poor biomechanics, that's a lot of wear and tear on these fancy jelly-filled donuts. And that jelly in the middle can leak out if the disc degenerates. If we get a herniated disc, right, I'm sure you've heard of that, where the outer fibers here tear, and again, that jelly can come out. So whether the jellies come out or not, in this position, when you're face down, we are opening the space between the joints. We're getting blood flow into the joints, relieving pressure on the nerves, and gravity is acting to suck down that disc, that cushion between the bones, and to put it back into place, right? So you hear people all the time having herniated discs and they go right into surgery, and that's, absolutely crazy in my opinion, unless it's, a sequestered disc. If it's something that, we can't help with over time. But you look a year out, the prognosis is very similar for people that have gotten surgery or went through chiropractic treatment, conservative care. And if we can take pressure off of these nerves, it's going to reduce pain, right? Now, even if you don't have a herniated disc, where that disc would be pushing back this way, right, is what we're talking about. So picture it bulging. What's it going to hit? Well, yeah, it's going to hit the nerves, right? It could hit the cord. It could hit one side of the nerves, or it could hit both sides. It could be hitting the cord. And you can have these symptoms going down the leg, maybe pain to the foot, maybe some muscle weakness, right? Some numbness, some tingling, some burning, things like that. So over time, our goal is to help the disc to recede, fall back into place, right? Now, even if you don't have a herniated disc, it's important to get blood flow into these discs, into these cushions. Why? They don't make their own blood, right? So this process of pumping, when we're moving that one arm up and down and pushing this way on what's called the spinous process, the back of the vertebra, we won't get too deep into the anatomy, to open that space, we're getting blood flow into the joint. These discs don't make their own blood. Again, they are avascular, and so that process is called imbibition, where it's the influx of fluid or blood that contains oxygen and nutrients into a tissue that's otherwise avascular. So where the hell do they get their blood from if they don't make it? From the bones above and below. They have these tiny little capillaries in them in the vertebral body end plates, right? Or the bottom of these bones, or the top of the bone, right? And so that blood is fed into the disc, but it requires some motion of pumping, right? So we're doing that when we're doing what we call flexion distraction, as I had shown before, but also that happens with walking, with riding a bike, with swimming, with activity. Another reason it's important to go for walks as soon as you can, really, if you have disc issues, and even if you don't, to reduce the onset, slow the onset of degeneration that can occur in the spine. So that's what we got for you guys today. How does it slow the onset of degeneration? Well, there's oxygen and nutrients coming in the blood that's being fed into the discs. Whether you're jogging or running or walking, even if you're a perfectly healthy person, right? People who run marathons have half the rate of knee osteoarthritis as non-runners. That says a lot, right? Knuckle crackers have lower rates of arthritis. Those are all myths, old myths that have been debunked, that you don't want to move the joint. You want to move the joints. You want to move them with proper biomechanics, though, and that's why it's super important to make sure you don't have a foot that, say, points outward the whole time you walk and it's excess stress on the knee, right? Or too far in and so on, or you're hunched and things like that. So that's what we got for you guys today. Quick little bit about flexion distraction, getting blood into the joint, getting oxygen and nutrition and vitamins and minerals and protein, everything in the blood that can be delivered to that disc, and water, right? Because what happens if you don't water a plant? Well, it dies. What do you think happens if you don't water your discs or get them nutrition, right? They aren't going to do so great. They're going to shrivel up, get thin, and then eventually the bone's going to be on the bone, and we don't like that, right? Have a great rest of your day. That's all we got for you guys. Thank you so much. Happy Wellness. I'm going to go home finally. Been here doing paperwork for a long time. Who do we got on here? Let's say what's up to the people coming at you from Block Sports Chiropractic and Physical Therapy. Just did a long day, long week. But we enjoy it the whole way, so it doesn't really matter, right? Rafi Poe, what's happening? Steve Media Style. Drew's Clues, Strong Mind, RJ Murphy. Expressive. We're talking about the lumbar spine here. This would be L1, 2, 3, 4, L5. The sacrum's below it, and then the coccyx. That's what we're showing you today. Yeah. Hope for the hopeless. Don't we need that? They at least. Jay Shava. Adam Asdash. What's going on, M? Everett Washington. Pepio. Gary. Steve Fitzy. Beautiful boy. Berlin Bad. Oh, man. I'm Mir. Meg, what's happening? Seen this place before. Jack Maddock. George Robles, Darwin Fuiza. What's happening, you guys? Happy Friday. Who's going to go out dance and have fun tonight? Abdulio. Coel Mark. What's going on? Julio Cedar. Second Chance, Mr. Adrian Fitness. Adroit Fitness, excuse me. Mature Miskell. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much. Queen Bee, what's going on? Durbis Absurd. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. Go walk around. Go pump some blood into your discs. Maybe come see us at Block if, you just want to have a healthy spine, have a well-functioning body and mind, and have a great life, because I get adjusted every week. So have a fantastic one. We'll see you. Thanks. Jake Pitt, what's up?